I just remember not feeling happy, like there's no light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. And then it's when my kids had asked me for things and I couldn't afford it. I felt rubbish. And being the dad and what provide kind of thing, it was just depressing. I just felt rubbish. I couldn't afford to treat my family to anything. You want to do that as a guy. Yeah, if it weren't for Darren and Veterans into Logistics helping me out, I don't know what I'll be doing right now. When I went to Afghan, I kind of knew what I was in for when I joined the army because it was going on at the time, so I knew it'd be going. I just accepted it for what it was really, and it could be horrible as well because obviously people got shot and blown up and stuff. It is horrible. That in the back of my mind, I knew that I always wanted a family of my own and that, and did want to be a dad, but I didn't want to bring them up in that environment because it's like when I was in Afghan, I felt sorry for the guys that had kids because it was in the back of the mind, the family's back home and that, whereas I was lucky I could have my mind on the job. So yeah, I left the army after 4 years and then I met Lou and we had kids and stuff and then I became a family man. Transitioning back to normal life, the challenge was trying to find a good job because at first I was stuck. I ended up at a care home for 3 years because I applied to other jobs and it was just, again, before I joined the army, it was the case of, oh, you've not got enough experience doing this, doing that. I ended up as a support worker looking after people with challenging behaviour for 3 years. My family started to have healthcare problems then, so my youngest, Jacob, was 2 at the time. He wasn't developing properly. So we put Jacob through a CT scan and found out he'd had a stroke before he was born. At that time, we found out Lou was pregnant with Jensen, and also my dad got cancer. And Jensen, he nearly died on us because for some reason liquid's going in his lung instead of his stomach. Me and Lou couldn't work, then we had to be on carer's allowance for a few years because Jacob with his cerebral palsy and then Jensen, he had this, they called it Worcester-Drought syndrome. So saying he nearly died because he ended up with a collapsed lung and pneumonia, I think it was. So yeah, for a few years we had to be on carer's allowance and that was really difficult, that being on carer's allowance. And me and Lou ended up in debt because at first, before we couldn't work, I explained the situation and we were told we weren't entitled to any help and stuff like that, so we ended up in a lot of debt. Looking back now, I think I was suffering with depression going through that era because I'd piled on the weight, we had no money, and I felt like a rubbish dad, a rubbish partner to my other half. It got to a point where we'd go park with the kids and we couldn't even afford an ice cream and things like that because money was just dead tight. As it got to the point where me and Lou could work again, I didn't know what to do. And Lou saw this post on Facebook with Veterans into Logistics in the background. And she was like, Dan, they help veterans out there. And you used to be in the army, why don't you ask them for help? And so I sent an email to Darren and didn't expect anything of it. He got back to me straight away and literally he rang me up and he was like, hey Dan, what you up to? I was like, not much, come down, we'll have a coffee and have a chat. I was like, when? Now. So came down to see Darren and within 5-10 minutes he'd booked me on this CPC course which enables you to drive trucks. You have to do like a theory first to make sure you're competent and before I knew it I was working at Muller. Life just got better then, so I've got a stable job, been working at Muller for nearly 3 years. So I've got a mortgage now. And kids have got a bedroom each, can actually afford things for the kids. Sometimes I get told off because we'll get a knock on the door and the other half will be like, Dan, what's this from Amazon? Charities like Veterans into Logistics is important because they help people out and they do make a difference. My other half, and I've seen that post about Veterans into Logistics, I just can't imagine where I'd be. Going from being in debt and stuff like that and worrying about everything, not affording things, suddenly getting a good stable job, got a mortgage now, which made a massive difference to our family life. People that are playing the Veterans Lottery, I also want to say thank you and please keep playing the Veterans Lottery if you can because it's making a huge difference to people's lives, like people like me, and it makes a big difference helping people get a job that can change their lives. If you want to help veterans like me or other charities like Veterans into Logistics, please play the Veterans Lottery.